Revolution! This is my Egyptian God, Wicked God, Burning Abyss deck, and it is actually kind of insane. It is really strong, a lot stronger than you would expect from a deck like this, and it works really well. Again, if you want to see this deck in action, be sure to click the card above. There is a video there that I posted recently that will show you this deck in action and just how good it really is. So let's get straight into this. For starters, we run one of each of the gods. So we run one Obelisk, one Dreadroot, one Osiris, one Avatar, one Eraser, and one the Winged Dragon of Ra. Do you need one of each of these? No. Are we running it? Hell yeah, it's a lot of fun. Basically, if you have any of these in your hand plus 3 Burning Abyss monsters, you can go into a god, and that is incredible. Our best options for going into are, of course, the Wicked Avatar, shuts down our opponent's spell and traps, which can be absolutely detrimental, and he basically can't be destroyed by battle. Slifer is, of course, fantastic for shutting down all of our opponent's weak monsters. Anything with 2,000 or less attack that our opponent summons immediately gets destroyed. Very strong. The Wicked Dreadroot is a really great monster for just dominating the field with attack points. So I would say that those 3 are the main ones we're going to go into, and of course the Winged Dragon of Ra for its OTK potential is really strong as well. Next, for our Burning Abyss cards, we run quite a lot. We run one copy of Barbar, Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. He's not the best card, hence why we only run one of them. I'll go into that a little bit later. So one copy of Barbar, 2 copies of Sir, 1 copy of Calcab, 1 copy of Alich, 1 copy of Farfa, 2 copies of Graf. Of course, we run 3 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld, and finally 2 copies of Skarm. So, why do we run 2 copies of these and 1 copy of a lot of the crap ones? Good question. Basically, this deck runs off of the fact that the Burning Abyss monsters can special summon themselves from your hand as long as you control no spell or trap cards. That makes them really good for bringing out god cards, right? You only need 3 different Burning Abyss in your hand and you can summon a god card. But the problem is you can only, they're hard once per turns basically. Both of their effects are hard once per turns, so having 2 of the same Burning Abyss in your hand is useless for summoning a god, right? You can't special summon them both. You can summon one, you can like normal summon one, special summon the other, that works, then you can't get their other effect off. It's just really clunky and not what we want to see at all. So running multiple different names just to get that effect, I found is much more worth it than running 3 of the best ones, which is what you would normally do with a Burning Abyss deck. But yeah, so of the worser ones, which are the ones that we run one of, I chose the better options. Of course, we have Farfa is a great choice. When he's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster on the field and banish it until the end phase. Good effect. Alich, I believe, when he's sent to the graveyard, negates a monster effect for a turn. We have Calcab, whose effect, if he's in the graveyard, you can return a set spell or trap on the field to the hand, which not only gets rid of our opponent's back row, but can also get rid of cards on your field. If you have like a skill drain set, you can return that to your hand and then be able to special summon your Burning Abyss. That has come up more than once. And of course we have Barbar is probably the worst. He just does 900 points of damage, well up to 900 points of damage, which has actually won me a game before. So don't knock on Barbar, he's a good guy. Next for the ones we have 2 of are of course the best Burning Abyss monsters, with Sir being able to special summon a Burning Abyss from your graveyard. We have Graf, who can special summon Burning Abyss monsters from your deck. And of course we have Skarm, who can add a level 3 Dark Fiend from your deck to your hand, that being either a Burning Abyss or even your Tour Guide. Tour Guide is fantastic when she's normal summoned. You can special summon a level 3 monster from your deck with being any of your Burning Abyss, and their effect is negated. The other thing you gotta note with Burning Abyss is that if you control a non-Burning Abyss monster, they will be destroyed, so do not forget that. And plus, both of their effects you can only use 1 per turn, hard ones per turn on those. So just keep that in mind, because that is very much a rookie mistake with Burning Abyss. So you can only use 1 effect of the card name per turn, and you can only control Burning Abyss monsters unless of course their effect is negated by the effect of Tour Guide. So getting out multiple gods can be difficult, but we do have a lot of ways to do that, which we'll get into soon. Now let's look into our spell cards. We run 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, basically a Pot of Greed, really easy to pull off. A lot of our deck is dark monsters except for 3 monsters, being the Egyptian gods there. Everything else is dark, definitely need 3 Allure of Darkness. We run 2 copies of Ancient Chant. Winged Dragon of Ra is the easiest monster in this deck to summon because of Ancient Chant. Not only does this search your Winged Dragon of Ra, but it also gives you an extra tribute summon, making it very easy to bring out a god in 1 turn. All you need is like, your Burning Abyss, even your Tour Guide to get out 2 monsters, and then Ancient Chant to get your god out. Makes that a lot easier, so we definitely run 2 of these, but only 2, not 3, because as soon as you use 1, or if you have Ra in your hand, this becomes a dead card, which is not what we want to see at all. This card also, don't forget to banish it from your graveyard before summoning Ra, so that Ra will have some attack points. Next we run 1 copy of Card Destruction. This card is insane, lets us draw a bunch of cards, obviously, and any Burning Abyss sent to the graveyard from our hand will have its effect activated, which can also be very powerful. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This card can be used to send Burning Abyss monsters to our graveyard, particularly Graf and Sir to get their effects off, special summoning a monster from your deck, or from your graveyard with Sir's effect. You can use Scam to search a monster, or you can use the other monsters to get their effects off as well, depending on the situation. But generally, you're going to send your Graf or your Sir. However, Foolish Burial can also be used to send your Slifer or your Obelisk to special summon them back later, which we'll get into in a second. So next up we have 1 copy of Monster Reborn. This card is fantastic to special summon a god from our graveyard. Very powerful, can pull off an OTK just like that. We run 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance. We only need 2, we run 3 Allure, so we don't need more Extravagance. I would say Extravagance over Prosperity for this deck, because this deck doesn't require specific cards to pull off its combos, it just requires more Burning Abyss in your hand basically. So drawing 2 cards is better than searching for 1 with this deck. Next we have 1 copy of Terraforming, because we run a field spell, so Terraforming is great. We have 3 copies of Soul Crossing. If you have this card plus a Divine Monster in your hand, you're good to go basically. Soul Crossing can tribute up to 3 of your opponent's monsters on their turn as well, so definitely want to run 3 of this. We have 1 copy of the Breaking Ruin God. This card can special summon Obelisk from your hand or graveyard, which is always just never say no to that, right? That is a really good effect to have. Breaking the Ruin God, bringing back Obelisk from the graveyard is also one of the reasons why you would Foolish your Obelisk to the graveyard, so that you can bring it back with the Breaking Ruin God. It also has a powerful effect that could potentially OTK your opponent if they have enough monsters in the grave. Finally, for our spells, we run 2 copies of Mound of the Bound Creator. This is a god deck. Mound protects all level 10 monsters, not just divine monsters, so definitely good to have since we have 6 level 10s in the deck who don't really have any protection, so definitely want to run 2 Mound. With 2 Mounds and a Terraforming, I usually always have Mound on field by the time I summon a god, or if I don't, I bring back a god later anyway, so it doesn't really matter even if you don't have Mound. So that's another thing to keep in mind with this deck, is that the potential to revive your gods after they're destroyed is very strong and very there, so don't need to worry about that. Next for our traps, of course, we run 1 copy of the Revived Sky God. This card is ridiculous, very powerful card. Definitely want to Foolish your Slifer into the grave just to use this. This card can special summon Slifer the Sky Dragon from your graveyard, and then each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. Also, you can banish this card from the graveyard to put Monster Reborn on top of your deck, from your deck or graveyard, and if there is a Divine Beast in your graveyard, you could draw 1 card right then and there. Revived Sky God is very powerful, of course enabling us to summon Slifer during our opponent's turn to set up Slifer's effect to destroy our opponent's cards, and also just giving us 6 cards is also great, could set up for a Slifer OTK during our turn, and of course sets up the Monster Reborn play to bring back Slifer later on, or any of our gods, or just anything that you want to bring back. Revived Sky God, definitely needed in this deck. It is a insane card, and if you draw it, you're set up, right? Like, you're good to go. Finally, for our main deck and our traps, we run 3 copies of Skill Drain. This deck can run Skill Drain, and so this deck does run Skill Drain. Skill Drain can actually be really helpful in this deck because it will prevent our Burning Abyss monsters from being destroyed by their own effect, which is really powerful and helps us to get multiple gods on the field. It can also be used in combination with a Obelisk that was special summoned from your graveyard. Skill Drain will stop Obelisk from going to the graveyard during the end phase, which is great, or special summon from the hand in the case of breaking the Ruin God. Yeah, any gods that are special summoned will go to the graveyard during the end phase, so having Skill Drain set up to stop that from happening is really good. However, keep in mind that Slifer is basically useless if you have Skill Drain on the field. He won't have any attack, and his effect to destroy won't activate, so that would suck. Ra will be mostly useless. If you gave him attack with his own effect, well then you should have won that turn, so that was your bad, but also he will have lost his attack. However, if he gained attack by the effect of Ancient Chant, he will still keep that amount of attack, which is definitely good to have, making him a powerful level 10 beat stick. Same goes for the Devil's Dreadroot. He will be a powerful 4000 beat stick, but otherwise doesn't do much. Avatar and Eraser will be completely useless if you have Skill Drain. So be mindful of when you use your Skill Drain. Also be mindful of the fact that you won't be able to special summon your Burning Abyss while you have Skill Drain, with their effect that is. But Skill Drain is good for getting out multiple Burning Abyss plus God cards, bringing out multiple gods, and of course, shutting down our opponent's monster effects, which is what it's really all about. Keep in mind as well that our Burning Abyss monsters don't have effects on the field that help us. They only have effects when they're sent to the graveyard, so Skill Drain will not stop that. Right, now let's look into our extra deck. We have one copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Great card when you're running Xyz, of course you gotta have Zeus. We have one copy of Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Liebe, and of course Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. This is a, deck based on level 10 monsters, so of course we're going to have the Gustav Max and the Liebe. Can be an OTK in himself. Same with Gustav Max, can definitely finish off an opponent if we have two gods on the field. Next for our more Burning Abyss ones, we have one copy of Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Don't go into her much, but she is definitely useful to have. One copy of Phantom Knights of Breaksword, great card, great rank 3 monster that we can go into, and 3 copies of Dante Traveler of the Burning Abyss. Dante is of course fantastic for Burning Abyss, sending 3 cards from our deck to the graveyard, can also put Slifer in the graveyard for the setup of Revive Sky God, and just gets off our Burning Abyss monster effects when they're sent to the graveyard. He is also a Burning Abyss monster himself, meaning that our other Burning Abyss will not destroy themselves when he's on the field. And yeah, he's just all around great card, 2500 attack when his effect goes off, definitely not bad. Next for our Link monsters, we have one Borrelsword Dragon, one Access Code Talker. These two are just here for the potential OTK if we don't have a god on the field. We have one copy of Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix, as well as IP Masquerena to help set them up. And finally, we run 2 copies of Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This card, again, a Burning Abyss monster, so our other Burning Abyss will not implode themselves upon his summon. And also, he sends Burning Abyss monsters from our deck to the graveyard, which is just a great effect, and can allow us to special summon more Burning Abyss from our deck or our graveyard, in the case of sending Graf and Sir. So that is it for this deck. It is very straightforward. Summon a bunch of Burning Abyss monsters and then go into a god card. Not much else to say there. Burning Abyss is of course a powerful deck. It's still good in today's day and age. Not as good as it used to be, but Skill Drain definitely helps. Their effects in the graveyard are great. You can swarm the field OTK, go into your Link summons, all fantastic. And of course, just ending on a god card is never a bad thing to have, right? Like, ending on a god card is a great end board. Even if they can be destroyed, like, you've still got Mound to protect them, and of course you've got Revive Sky God to bring back Slifer, and, Breaking Ruin God, bring back Obelisk. You can summon gods on your opponent's turn, tributing 3 of their monsters with Soul Crossing. Like, gods are strong if you can pull them off. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any changes you would make to this deck. Let me know if you like this deck, or if you tried it out for yourself, what you thought of that. Again, check out the previous video to see this deck in action. It is strong. I really love playing with this deck. It's not meta, it's a good deck. I love it. One of the best Wicked God decks, I think, and God card decks. It pulls off. It works. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My name has been Sin Cara, and until next time, see ya.